So I learned how to block voices and electromagnetic frequency attacks and voice to skull attacks. I learned how to block all of them. This is my apartment. You'll notice that the walls are covered with paper and aluminum foil and with crumpled aluminum foil. This is the door, the wall, my living room, my kitchen cabinet is here on the right. And what I discovered is that there were energy beams coming into my apartment that actually track me everywhere I go. We'll get more on that later. And it was causing me to have headaches, to feel sleepy, to hear things, to feel muscle pain, etc. All parts of my body. So here's another shot of my door. The reason why there's paper here at the bottom is because I had to sleep in the living room. I didn't want to cover all the rooms in my apartment, so I just did one room. And when I sleep on the floor, something was coming through, hitting my feet, because it comes in perpendicular or at 45-degree angles. So if you're lying down on the floor and your feet are over here, it's literally going to come through at this point. It's not going to come up at a higher point. If you're standing at the door, it's hitting you in the head, it's going to come in at eye level. That's the way this thing is. So this is my kitchen, the kitchen cabinets. Over here you'll see there's a pile of tin cans and a paper bag and some tin foil. This is in line with where I sit at the computer. So when I'm sitting at the computer, there's energy coming in directly from here, and I put all of this up to block it as much as possible, including in the room on the other side of the cabinets, which is the bathroom. Here's obviously a shot that shows my bed on the lower left. There's aluminum screen which I cover my body with, which reduces some of the energy. There's also aluminum screen on the wall and stuff we've already spoken about. This is the sofa. My bed is on the lower right. This is my living room. On the left, up where the crumpled foil is, this is what hits me when I'm sitting down working at my computer. And like I said, it comes in through the walls perpendicularly. Eventually it would come in through other parts of the wall, but it would be weaker, and it doesn't tend to come in at like a 45-degree angle. There's only a few cases where it does, but in general it's horizontal or perpendicular. The more of a strange angle that it has to hit, the weaker the signal is. This is the wall that goes into the bedroom, and there's a door on the left that also goes into another bedroom. I don't use those bedrooms anymore. And the paper over here is because when I sleep, it was bothering my body and my feet, so I went up and I doubled up on the paper. This is where I sit. You see I have tin cans blocking what would hit my forehead, and I pile up tin cans of food. I've got these on the floor. There's tin cans on the floor to protect my feet, and everything that's doubled up over here is to protect my feet. There's paper to protect my feet because my skin burns. Behind me is plastic from a raincoat. It does work. It was hung up to be a blue screen for when I record video. This is my bedroom, which is mostly empty. Behind that, we've got a green screen, which is also plastic. This you see over here next to the clock, to the right of the clock, there is a weird square. That's the 45-degree angle where the beam was coming and hitting me in the head while I was working. It was always coming from right next to the clock here. I went and I blocked it. This square is actually the lids from tin cans with some vinyl tape covering it. And plastic bottles can be used to break up the beam. Anything that's round breaks up the beam. Crumpled breaks up the beam. Uneven surfaces. Behind my chair, there's like 100 plastic bottles. This is the ceiling. After I covered up all the walls, I had a lot of quiet days, but eventually I had to cover up the ceiling too. And as you cover up one spot, you have to expand it the next day. You have to expand it the next day. But the beam is becoming wider but weaker. And it did damage my computer. My computer doesn't have the speakers don't work anymore, and the battery's completely dead. I have an internal battery. You can't swap it out unless you have a special screwdriver. So this is my bathroom. I covered the walls and I sealed it. It probably has paper behind it. It's sealed. I could take a shower with it. This is also the bathroom where I crumpled the paper, and I tried folding paper and crumpled tin foil. The reason why it's shaped like this is because there's actually plastic bottles behind that paper. This is behind the blue screen. You can see on the bottom, you see some cans. It's filled with plastic bottles, and the screen door has crumpled paper where my head is and where my the seat of my chair is, because those are places where I was getting hit frequently. And the paper's at the bottom because my feet would burn. And the paper blocks ultraviolet B light, which is what was burning my feet. And it burns it all day long. It doesn't matter if it's morning, day, or night. It could be midnight, and I'm getting a sunburn. And that's completely real. So these are the plastic bottles that I had. You know, it's above my waist level. I never really filled up the whole thing, but that did break up a lot of the energy beams. Obviously, this is the floor. These cans would break up the energy that was hitting my feet. The aluminum foil on the side of the table was protecting my feet. I have to save these pennies because I use them to any place that I have to reinforce with something dense. I just go and I tape some coins. They're not pennies, they're pesos. And over here on the left, we've got some plastic bottles. That protects me when I'm sleeping. This is where I sleep. You can see I use these tin cans to protect me when I am sleeping, and it's reinforced with foil where I get hit really hard, and I've got tin cans behind this to protect my head. Plus, I have the plastic raincoat on top, and in case I need it in emergency, I just pull it down. And I've got the aluminum screening, which I sleep under, which also protects my body. This is obviously a shot of the bedroom. The point of this is the energy, concrete walls reduce the effectiveness of the energy. I can't sleep in the bedrooms. The energy coming through the window is so strong that it makes me feel like my head's going to explode. I could not believe how strong the energy was. But what I discovered is that this wall, it might be a few inches thick one way, but if you go the long way, it's really thick. It's many feet thick. And what I discovered is if you have an emergency, just put your head next to the corner and try both corners, and the thickness of the wall through the length of the wall will block the energy. So you just stand in the doorway and it will block the energy. So this is the object that has all the lids from tin cans that blocks the energy coming from a 45-degree angle. I don't know where these energy beams are coming from, but I will confirm that some of the energy beams are coming from the direction of cell phone towers. It's really strange, and it doesn't make sense because the energy hits you wherever you are, but I will say that when I'm outside, it's definitely coming from outer space. But I think it just might be a coincidence that there is a cell phone tower in that direction that's near the building and in some of the other directions. This is my cabinets. My cabinets are filled with plastic bottles. You really want them standing vertically, but the reason why I have these here is to save them in case I need them if I have to reinforce somewhere. And you notice I did both sides of the door. It's better to have the blocking material and then a space and then more blocking material than to put double the blocking material. These are the tin cans that I stacked. I do tape them together when I have to, like this. This is at the foot level underneath the cabinets, and I've got some extra material over here because it was affecting my feet. This shows the aluminum screen that I taped to the wall. I have 3 pieces, but aluminum screen, it's really easy to go by and hang up, and it doesn't do a complete perfect job, but it does reduce some of it. And there are people who do cover their entire beds with an aluminum screen, and they sleep with that. This is behind my head when I'm sleeping. You see rows of tin cans. Because we're in lockdown, I save all my tin cans, can't go outside. So I'm buying a lot of canned food, and that's why I've got so many tin tin cans that I've been saving. And if you could put one can inside of another, do it. You want to break it up as much as possible. I would fill it up with dirt. This is actually, this is a water bottle, but water also blocks the energy. So the empty bottles, sometimes I fill them up with water and I put them on the floor to block energy. This is my motorcycle helmet. Motorcycle helmets also block the energy. My other helmet is covered with aluminum tape, which makes it easier when I'm out riding around. But sometimes if I don't know what to do, I put the helmet on. And the helmet will vibrate. Like all of this aluminum foil, it vibrates when the energy's hitting it. So if someone doesn't believe you, you just tell them, you take the tin can and you put it next to where you're feeling the pain, and the tin can's going to vibrate. Like I'm holding a tin can right now. This one is not empty, so it's not vibrating. But if I get an empty can, I'll feel the vibration. Especially a soda can works better than a food can. And the motorcycle helmet does too, but they have to put their hands in the exact spot. It's a very small beam. It's only a couple millimeters wide. These are items that I put on my fingers and toes. The big round one near the top with the earplugs goes around my toe. The rest of them are mostly for my fingers, and the big one on the right that is foil with tape, masking tape, that goes around my toe, and then the one all the way on the left or in the middle covers the bridge of my nose. It's just like a little piece of foil I put over my nose. And I use the earplugs when I feel pain in my ear. When I sit here on this chair using my computer, I had to put up this aluminum foil to block the energy beam, and there's multiple cell phone towers in that direction and a mountain. This is the other direction. Again, like I said, it always comes perpendicular. As it comes to being less perpendicular, the energy is a lot weaker. I haven't confirmed that there's any cell phone tower out in that way. On the other side of this aluminum foil, you have a highway, shopping mall, a construction site, and then the ocean. So I looked out there. I didn't see anything that might cause a problem. Now, this right here is my foot, and you can see that I was sleeping with a aluminum around my toe because it blocks pain. It really worked. And the bottom of my foot is on the left. You'll notice that whatever this is happened at night because the blood dripped down towards the top of my foot, which is because I was lying down. And it looks like my foot was pierced right here while I was sleeping. Obviously, it could be an insect bite. But I've got one that looks like a snake bite. It's really weird. And I'm going to tell you, it looks like other people that report the same problem on the internet. This is very suspicious. Okay, that's the video.